The time of Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, and Brock Lesnar is over. While those men were all once the top stars of the UFC, one lightweight has overtaken their spot, and then some. Conor McGregor, the first fighter in the UFC to hold 2 world championships at the same time. McGregor is a trendsetter and record breaker that will stand the test of time. That doesn't mean you know everything about him. Here are 10 shocking things about Conor McGregor. Just as Conor trains in the gym, we're going to need you to do some training of your own. Okay, fine, it's not even close to his training, but just wait till later on in the video where we'll have a pop quiz for you. For now, we just need you to hit the subscribe button. Do it, and let's go. Why he fights. Bullying is a common reason why fighters get into fighting in the first place. It makes a lot of sense. After all, once these fighters are on the receiving end of a beatdown, they never want to go through that again. It happened to George St. Pierre as well, but that makes more sense as he's a shy, humble Canadian boy. But can you imagine it happening to a loudmouth like Conor McGregor? We mean, maybe you can. Perhaps before McGregor's muscles developed, he mouthed off to the biggest kid in school and got his head flushed in the toilet. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, right, bullying. Well, yes, believe it or not, the current UFC world champion was the target of bullies when he was in school. The champ told a story on an MTV UK documentary and said he would walk home and get harassed by the bullies from his school. After a few days of this, McGregor decided to carry a weight in his school bag to use as a weapon in case anything went down. Pretty sure McGregor doesn't need that weight anymore. His original athletic endeavor. With the combination of his trash-talking, huge knockout power, and gigantic ego, it's hard to see Conor McGregor doing anything else but competing in combat sports. If McGregor's original childhood dream came true though, he wouldn't be swaggering into octagons, but walking onto the soccer pitch. A huge football fan, McGregor played as the striker in his home country of Ireland. According to one of his former coaches for the Yellowstone Celtic team, the Notorious One was a hell of a striker on the field, as well as the canvas. He was even the top scorer for a team in one of the 2 years he played for them. However, the call of MMA kept growing and growing for McGregor, and by his second year with the team, he already was spending most of his time training in the gym. It's definitely for the best, as we can't see McGregor shining nearly as well in the team sport like soccer, as opposed to a solo sport like MMA. If he thinks that throwing energy drinks at a press conference got him in trouble in MMA, we can't imagine how high his fine would be in soccer. Anyone else dying to see Conor McGregor knock out Ronaldo now? His sister is a competitor. While we may have an urge to showcase McGregor's sister, Afoy McGregor, it's our video and we can do what we want. Here's a photo of Odafe McGregor for your viewing pleasures. Alright, now moving on. McGregor may not cave people's heads in for a living, but she's also a competitor in her own way. A former competitive bodybuilder and fitness model, the eldest of the McGregor siblings last competed in 2013. Going into bodybuilding, she was completely unaware of the amount of sacrifice that was required for competition. But she had her brother to serve as inspiration. You can also thank McGregor's sister for being the person behind his various hairstyles for his fights. Aaron has done work as a hairdresser and is the mind behind McGregor's bun that he's had for some of his fights. If anybody has any hate for the popularization of the hairstyle, you now know who to direct your hate mail towards. We at the Sportster would advise against that because, well, her brother's Conor McGregor. Dude has dynamite in his hands. I wouldn't mess with that family. The notorious ICEMAN. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, the UFC light heavyweight division was the crown jewel division of the promotion, with legends like Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, and Vitor Belfort filling its ranks. There was no doubt as to which division was putting butts in the seats, so to speak. There was one fighter, though, that captured the imagination of a young Conor McGregor. That fighter was none other than the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. McGregor credits the longtime UFC light heavyweight champion as the figure who convinced him that MMA was the sport to do. The similarities are there if you look for them. They both possess insane knockout power. They both love to party out on a town. and the two are close to Dana White and the Fertitta brothers. The key difference between them is that being while Liddell was a quiet guy and let his fighting do the talking, McGregor, well, doesn't exactly keep his mouth shut. All we can hope for is that McGregor doesn't stick around too long in the sport like Liddell did. His previous job. Being a professional athlete is different from any other job in the world. Not only are you constantly in the public spotlight, but you have to be in tip-top shape and dress for success. Just look at all the different looks McGregor wears to press conferences. He takes his job seriously. But what's one job that none of those factors apply to? Plumbing. In fact, if a plumber who looks to be in good shape shows up to your house, you should immediately question his motives and report him to the authorities. There's no way in hell he's an actual plumber. Despite plumbing and fighting being two completely different things, McGregor can actually say he's done both on his CV. Before he began his professional MMA career, McGregor trained for years as an apprentice plumber. It didn't last long, however, as McGregor decided he needed to devote all of his time to training in the gym. Could you imagine the Notorious One strolling up to the house with all of his tools, the homeowner telling him that the toilet clogged and McGregor needs to fix it? Yeah, we think we'd rather see him fight too. Alright, time to take a break here and pose our quiz question for the video. McGregor has made a habit of calling out fighters above his weight class. Which actor has he sparred with that can likely destroy him by sitting on him? Start thinking about big guys from your favorite shows while we keep rolling with the facts. His views on gay marriage. One of Conor's biggest inspirations in combat sports is Muhammad Ali. Who would have seen that one coming? Must be the beard. Ali definitely had a beard, right? Jokes aside, Ali's influences on McGregor can not only be seen in his trash-talking abilities, but also on his willingness to throw his considerable public weight behind social issues. In 2015, McGregor's home country of Ireland was holding a referendum on the legality of same-sex marriage, a country with a massive percentage of Christians. Ireland had been stuck in the past on the issue, and McGregor was fed up about it. Deciding to make his voice loud and clear about the vote, McGregor let the world know that he supported the vote to legalize gay marriage. The issue is especially close to his team, as his coach, John Kavanagh, has a gay brother. When asked about his thoughts on the vote, Kavanagh rightfully stated that the fact it was even a political issue in 2015 was ridiculous. The entire Straight Blast team voiced their support, and it worked out well. The motion was passed by a vote of 62% in favor of the idea. While the Republic of Ireland accepted this, Northern Ireland remains the only region in Europe to not have legalized same-sex marriage. Does Conor McGregor have to go to Northern Ireland and punch out some bigots or what? He won a fight with a major injury. For those who don't know, Max Holloway is a badass. With 14 wins and 3 losses in the UFC at just 25 years, Holloway is destined for greatness, and he arguably has achieved it already with the UFC interim featherweight title belt. Sure, the company tosses out those things like free candy nowadays, but hey, he's got a shiny thing around his waist. Best respect it. In only his 6th UFC fight, Holloway was set as the short notice replacement against McGregor at UFC Fight Night Sonnen vs. Shogun. Even though his opponent had a short training camp, McGregor found a way to even the odds. To make it more of a fair fight. During the first round of the match, McGregor tore his ACL, an injury which put him on the shelf for 10 months. Did that stop him from winning the fight though? Of course not. McGregor secured the 30-27 unanimous decision win from all 3 judges. If it makes Holloway feel any better, he remains the person McGregor hasn't been able to finish inside the octagon. Yay? A shame that McGregor has now left the featherweight division behind, as it would have been great to see a rematch between these two. Paid and laid. Anybody who's watched the original Rocky can recite an iconic line from Rocky's trainer, Mickey Goldmill. Women weaken legs. It turns out that the old cranky boxer wasn't just angrily barking about nothing. This goes back to an ancient belief held in China and Greece, which theorized that abstinence would increase frustration and aggression as well as boost energy. While athletes of old may have followed this decree, don't count Conor McGregor among their ranks. Back in 2015, while doing an appearance on the Conan O'Brien show, O'Brien asked McGregor about his views on doing the nasty before fights. We'll quote McGregor here and do our best impression of him. That is most certainly a superstition that I do not abide by. I definitely have as much sex as possible. How was that? Pretty good. It was okay. If it was bad, I'm sorry. McGregor isn't alone in his stance on pre-fight workouts. Ronda Rousey was also asked the same question on the Jim Rome show in 2012 and also said that she seeks to cram in as much endurance training as possible before fights. Turns out her and McGregor have more in common than just a penchant for finishing fights quicker than we thought. You could shut down any thoughts that these two have gone together though, you sickos. Rousey is currently engaged to heavyweight Travis Brown, and we don't care how good McGregor is. The Giant can eat him if he wanted to. Papa McGregor. How would it be to have Conor McGregor as a father? If you were to tell him that you were going out tonight, he would say, "You'll do nothing," and then send you up to your room. Thinking about getting into a snowball fight with Papa McGregor. Watch as he ups the ante by grabbing nearby energy drink cans and hurling them at you like he's Tom Brady. Well, luckily for us, we don't have to imagine what Conor McGregor would be like as a father, because we're going to see it soon enough. Right after his victory over Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205, McGregor announced that his longtime girlfriend, Dee Devlin, was pregnant. With 2 world titles, a loving girlfriend on his arms, and the blood of his opponent still fresh on his gloves, there's no doubt that November 12, 2016 was the best day of his life. Until his kid is born, we're assuming. Man, that is going to be one notorious baby. Oh, and by the way, the baby is a boy. He always fights. Always. While this may seem more like a Chuck Norris fact than a Conor McGregor fact, hear us out on this one. He may live a life of luxury now, but McGregor was once a working class guy, just like most people. He lived in a modest apartment and dreamed of big success, like we all do. The difference between our dreams and McGregor's, though, is that when we wake up, we don't usually punch and kick our walls. Well, most of us don't. Jim in accounting is a freak, by the way. In the documentary shot in 2013 for MTV UK, McGregor spills the beans on the story behind the marks on his wall. Turns out the marks behind him are from his sidekicks at 4 o'clock in the morning due to not being able to sleep. After all, who needs sleep when there are walls to fight? We're convinced that McGregor has been listening to Chris Jericho's theme song on repeat and took things a bit too seriously. That's our theory and we're sticking to it. On a serious note, this just goes to show the amount of dedication that McGregor has for his sport. Floyd Mayweather, if you want to train seriously for your match against him, you best get started on punching some walls. Alright, time for the answer to our previous trivia question. The guy who McGregor sparred with for funsies was not even a person. He was a mountain. Okay, fine. It was a person. It's the mountain from Game of Thrones. But come on. Our version was better, wasn't it? Just think about it. The session was pretty light, mostly because if Mountain could get a hold of him, it would have been good night for the champ. Well, that's it for our list. Are there any shocking facts about Conor McGregor that we missed? McGregor says some crazy things as if it's a bodily function, so there's probably something that we missed. Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Sportster for more answer videos. Until next time.